on today? Good. Well, I think that after viewing the film, we have a very similar opinion of what we felt after the game, that there's a lot of lessons to be learned in this last game in terms of, paying attention to detail, getting basic fundamental things correct, that you're very vulnerable to not having success when you don't do the little things right. And, our team needs to pay attention to detail, have a better sense of urgency, better sense of immediacy, play a little smarter in some critical situations in the game. And I just think this is something that we need to do a better job of as coaches in terms of getting our players ready to do this, as well as them having the attitude that they can get taken advantage of when they don't do things and don't do the little things right. I think when we did those things correctly in the game, we had success. When we didn't do them, we didn't do the little things right, we got exposed a little bit, whether it was in the run game, whether it was in the pass game, whether it was in how we covered them on defense or how we played a running play on defense. It's probably good that we're in a close game that was very closely contested, which we had to go out there and make some plays and stops in the game that made a difference in the game. We certainly didn't dictate the tempo of the game like we like to. I think it's important for the players to refocus on the vision of what they want to try to accomplish as a team, pay attention to detail, focus on the process of what it's going to take for us to play our best football as a team, and go out and work every day in practice to try to get it perfected so that when we get to the game we have confidence in our ability to execute. So that's kind of where we're at. But players of the week, Brian Vogler and TJ Yeldon on offense, Clinton Dix, CJ Mosley, Ashawn Robinson, and Jarek Williams on defense, and CJ was the SEC defensive player. Landon Collins, Cade Foster, D. Hart, Cody Mandel, who was the specialist of the week, and DeAndrew White all did a really good job on special teams. Brian Vogler will be day-to-day from an injury standpoint. This week he's got a sprained ankle. Probably won't do anything today, and don't really know, what day this week he'll be able to get back into it. But we just have to evaluate, those things, day to day. Got a couple other guys that are nicked up that may be in black jerseys today, but we don't feel like are an issue as to whether they can play in the game or not. One thing I'd like to mention is this game is senior day for a very, very successful class of seniors who have contributed, a tremendous amount to the program here over the last 4 or 5 years, whatever their career spanned in terms of their record, how they've represented the University of Alabama, the football program, and the success that they've had. And hopefully we've had some success in contributing to their personal development, to their academic growth and ability to be successful in developing a career, as well as helping them develop and improve as football players. And these are all things that we're hopeful will help them be more successful in life. But I do think that for our fans to get there a little early and show appreciation for what these guys have done here over the last 4 or 5 years would certainly mean a lot to our coaches, myself, and to the players and their families. So we'd certainly thank you for that. Chattanooga has a really good team. They've been very successful in their division. I think Russ does a really good job of finding ways to get the most out of his players in terms of what they can do. And his son at quarterback is Jacob is a really good quarterback, whether he's running it or throwing it. They have a lot of quarterback runs and do a lot of multiples of things, and they're very good defensively in terms of what they've been able to accomplish statistically this year. So We're more concerned right now as to how we focus on the things that we need to do to improve, and certainly have every respect for the opponent that we have this week.
Talking about two of the seniors, Cade Foster and Cody Mandel, just how far have you seen them progress from their freshman years, and technique-wise, and performance?
Well, both guys have, played significant roles here. Both of them have had some part in kicking, for Cody for 4 years, Cade for 3 or 4, and both have done a really, really good job, and both have improved dramatically. Cade's always been a really good kickoff guy, but he's really improved his accuracy in field goals and consistency. And Cody has gotten a little better every year, to where I think, he's, a very, very good punter right now, consistent in terms of all the things that he does, and he works at a lot of things. He can, make alternative kicks, even on kickoff type stuff. So, he's worked really hard and shown both guys have shown a lot of maturity and making a significant improvement throughout their career here.
I just want to ask about O.J. Howard after taking that high hit, if his status is one of those bumps and bruises guys. And is there any chance Dalvin Tomlinson might be able to make it back at all for maybe the bowl or anything this season?
We really haven't discussed that yet. I mean, we evaluate them. I don't even think there's any consideration of doing anything with a guy, even, running and cutting wise, let alone playing football, until they're at least 4 months out. So I would say that's probably really, really doubtful, and wouldn't be, I don't think it would be. I mean, it's a medical decision that the doctors will make. I'm not a doctor, so that's not something we're counting on. O.J. Howard, I think will be fine. He may be one of those guys that's limited a little bit today, but I don't think he'll have any issues, as the week progresses.
Coach, the 2 interceptions by A.J. are certainly uncharacteristic, and overall on the turnovers, looking at the film, were they anything, both A.J.'s and the 2 fumbles by the running backs, were they anything other than just fundamentals weren't what they needed to be?
Well, I think that, sometimes guys trying to make more out of a play than there really is there. I think in both cases, when we fumbled the ball, we weren't carrying it exactly properly. TJ, he was, trying to get extra yards and probably dropped the ball a little bit and got popped. We didn't have the ball secured properly on the other fumble. AJ was, scrambling on the play when he threw 1 interception, which the guy made a good play on, which I may add that, all of you guys after the press conference tell me that the guy was out of bounds. He really wasn't out of bounds. He was in bounds. So I would have wasted a timeout trying to do what you do, and you all tell me he's in bounds. I mean, come on, man. We got coaches in the box who look at that stuff. All right, I asked the official, I say, are you reviewing this? He says yes. They review it. They didn't overturn it. Nobody in the box told me that the guy was not in bounds. So that's the best information we had. So where y'all got your information at, I don't know. All right, but anyway, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Well, the other interception, he had pressure in the pocket. I mean, they actually busted the coverage and didn't cover the guy. All right, so the guy was really open. It was a deep third corner who, and then really Steen had the guy blocked. The tailback on the fake kind of bumped him off the guy. The guy got pressure in AJ's face. Probably a difficult throw to make with that kind of pressure in your face, and that's why he threw it on his back foot. He probably shouldn't have tried to make that kind of throw, with that kind of pressure. I think he saw the guy so wide open, he was just trying to get him the ball. But that was, I think AJ would be the first one to tell you he probably shouldn't have tried to make that play based on the circumstance that the pressure that he got in his face.
Nick, you touched on the seniors, and they have accomplished a lot. Can you talk a little bit more about what they mean to you personally, and what do you hope they take away from this experience other than championship rings?
Right. Well, that would be the least of it, in my opinion. Look, I have a tremendous amount of respect for all the players in our program, the things that they do on a daily basis, personally, academically, and athletically. We tell guys in recruiting, to be successful in college is not really going to be all fun and really be easy. There's some difficulty to it all, whether it's having academic success or, it's a lot of hard work to be a good football player. And these guys have dedicated themselves to being good people, certainly done a really good job and have a great academic record in terms of the graduation rate of this group and how well they've done academically, and as well as what they've been able to produce, on the football field. But I think more than anything else, the number one goal that we have, for our players is that the things that they learn here, whether it's character, discipline, good choices and decisions, consequences of good choices and decisions, are all things that are going to help them be more successful in life. And I'm talking about being more successful as parents, be more successful in whatever their career is. And, that's the ultimate goal that we have for all of our players here. And I do think that, their athletic experience, lends a lot of opportunity to learn some lessons in life, whether it's hard work, perseverance, how you need to compete, how you need to be relentless, all things that I think are, very true in what it takes to be successful in life.
Those festivities happen in pregame, and I know that you're focused on the game, but that can be a very emotional time because you went into the families' homes and you talked to the parents about bringing their son to your place, and they see the results of them growing up into manhood. Is that an emotional time for you because you know that the time that you have left with them is so limited?
Well, I think it is, but I choose to enjoy the time that we have here, with our team, with this particular team. Every team is a sort of a work in progress when you start a new team, and, we've done a lot of work with this team, and, have really enjoyed the relationships that we have, with a lot of players on the team. And hopefully we're contributing in a positive way to helping them develop personally, academically, and athletically. But I'm not, when the thing comes on Saturday, it is a little bit emotional for me because, I can't believe how fast it goes by. I mean, it seems like, when I shake hands with these guys, I remember going in their house. It just seems like it was like yesterday. And now they're been here, had success, and are gone. But we always have a new group coming in, and they usually present us with some challenges that are, welcome.
Coach, specifically Anthony Steen, how have you seen his leadership manifest itself this year? What type of leader do you think he is, and how have you seen him develop since he's been a freshman?
Well, Anthony's, played really, really well for us, all year long. He's been really consistent in his performance, and I think that a lot of the players respect him. He certainly sets a good example every day, for other players to emulate, which I think is a critical piece of being a good leader. I also think he cares in a very quiet way, in his way, about trying to help the other guys, develop, which I also think is a very important part of being a good leader. So even though he may not be a rah-rah guy in a lot of ways, I do think he has a significant impact on that group, and he has been a good leader for us on this team.
AJ, Kenny Bell, and Kevin Norwood talk about the chemistry they developed in 2009. They become really good friends. I'm just wondering, is it important for a quarterback to be close with his receivers outside the field too? Just the way they've kind of come together like that.
Well, I think those guys have grown up here together, so there's obviously some personal attachment just because they came in together, they went through a lot together, they've grown up together. But I think when AJ's out there playing quarterback, he's probably sitting there thinking, I'm not concerned about who's my friends, but who's going to go do what they're supposed to do so they can get open so I have somewhere to throw the ball. And, you know, I think that's the most important thing, and I think that's one of the things that, you know, both Kevin and Kenny do is, you know, you can always count on them to do what they're supposed to do, and they do it fast. And I think, you know, that's where you really get a sense of confidence at quarterback when the players go do what they're supposed to do. They do it fast. They end up in the right place. So the timing of what you're trying to do is, you know, in sync, and you're confident that, you know, when guys try to ad-lib in the passing game, you know, that's when you get stuck. All right, that's when you don't have any place to go. That's when the ball doesn't come out on time, and that's so. You know, I guess if you're a receiver out there listening, that my advice to you would be, if you want the ball, which most of you do what you're supposed to do.
You saw Yeldon in a protective boot after the game. Is that anything that will limit him this week?
Well, he's sprained his ankle a little bit, and, you know, we'll see. I don't think it's a bad thing. He finished the game on it. You know, we put a guy in a protective boot pretty much for anything. If you had a corn on your toe, we would put you in a protective boot. So, and I agree with that. You know, I think that's a good thing. I'm not trying to say that's not something that we should do. But, you know, it does, you know, help the guys recover, helps eliminate some swelling. I mean, so, I mean, we've had guys in boots, you know, 2 hours before the game.
You were talking about the potential benefit of playing in a close game. I wondered, how do you see teams respond to that, and what do you see as potentially a benefit coming out of a game that close?
Well, the only benefit is I'd rather not have close games, but since we had one, the benefit is we had to go in some tough circumstances and situations, especially on defense, and, you know, came through a couple times, circumstances that we created ourselves by, you know, having a couple turnovers. But I think it's important that in close games you learn how to finish games so that you give yourself the best opportunity to be successful. I'd rather not have a close game, but I think at some point in time here in the near future we're going to have some close games, and we're going to play against some good teams. So, you know, hopefully the experience and what happened and the importance of keeping your poise and being able to stay focused on what you need to do to be successful on that play are all lessons that, you know, are going to be helpful down the road.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.